This is an exciting day because I harvested my volunteer pumpkin. This is the pumpkin that grew out of my compost. So I have it here in front of my new raised garden beds, and I can look out at it every day. I've put it in a sunny spot, and there's lots of air circulation, so it can cure before mid-October. It should be nice and cured so I can bring it in after Halloween. But guys, isn't that wonderful? A completely free volunteer pumpkin. And I'm so excited about that. It's amazing when things grow out of your compost that you'd like to have. I'm so used to pulling weeds, but I just love it. It's a beautiful sort of flat-shaped, darker pumpkin. It might be a Boston marrow pumpkin or even a mix, but I just love it. So pretty. This is a autumn joy sedum. I just pruned back and repotted it. It's been in the same pot for years. It was looking worse for wear, but I think by next year with the new soil it's going to look really nice. Working on filling these gigantic raised beds with lots of stuff, some cardboard, leaves, weeds, just about anything that I'm pulling out of my garden right now. Some logs. I'm just trying to fill up the bottom part with organic material, but we've still got some beautiful marigolds. And my tomato plants are only still here because I do have about 3 fruit, which I hope will ripen up. These are beefsteaks. And I moved my cabbages back here, and I think they're actually benefiting from being in the part shade. I don't think they wanted blasting sun. It just stays cooler back here, closer to some of the trees. I am so excited about this pot of flowers. I just discovered if I put this piece of crystal garden art hanging on a hook, it almost looks like the flowers are being watered with raindrops. It is so pretty, especially when those crystals blow in the breeze. And I've had that little piece of garden art hanging all over the garden. And it's not a large piece, so it kind of disappears. And it's every spot I've had it in hasn't been quite right. And I am delighted that I have finally found a beautiful spot for it. And it enhances the flowers, and it really shows to its best in this positioning. And the geraniums I grew from seed, those are pink geraniums, and I have dollar store marigolds, the yellow ones. And for some reason, those are the only ones that the rabbits really haven't bothered. I do have some tall varieties that the rabbits haven't been interested in either, but some of the varieties were munched on by rabbits, but not these beautiful yellow ones. Let me go in closer so you can take a look at the flowers. But look guys, it looks like a little rain shower. Don't you just love finding the right place for a piece of garden art? The Autumn Joy sedum in my big pot has opened up back here, and it is a hub of activity. It is loaded with big fuzzy bumblebees. I hope you can see them. They're just really working over the whole entire stand of Autumn Joy sedum. Isn't that beautiful? And this just opened up in the last couple days, guys. It looks beautiful in every stage as it's budding up, but this bright purple is so delightful. And I think the bees would agree with me. Here's one that's not quite open yet, although there's some activity around it as well. But it looks really beautiful. It's got kind of a pinky red tone to the buds. This beautiful tall wildflower is Eupatorium. And I thought it might be a weed, but I had my suspicions that it was a beautiful wildflower, so I planted it back here. It was growing as a weed in the front of my home, and I'm so glad I did. It's now spread itself. We've got lots of little sprouts here that have become their own plants, and it's nice because they bloom after the Joe Pye weed finishes its bloom, which is also a fall bloomer. And I have that back here. I even have a Eupatorium here. So that's beautiful, but look at this, guys. This is Joe Pye weed seed, so looks like it's gonna seed itself, and I should have an even thicker stand of it next year. So that's wonderful when a flower bed can take care of itself and spread its glory around. I like the way these Joe Pye weed look. This is a little pocket of sunshine on a sunny day back here in the woodland. And it seems that they like it. I had put a couple of little plants back here, not expecting much, but it seems like they've taken root. I rearranged the pink garden just a bit. I took away the table and I centered my amulary statue and I flipped the two chairs. I just thought that looked a little bit better. I wanted to get the right positioning, but I'm really pleased with how it looks. Might be a little bit hard to see with the sun shining, but I really like the more balanced look of this garden now. And I went ahead and redid some of my pots. I still have one to fill. I'll probably put maybe more thyme in there. But I took cuttings from my lavender and popped them over here. And hopefully they'll root a little bit before winter comes. Maybe over the next 6 weeks before we get cooler weather. And I had transplanted some chives in here. I pruned back and repotted my sage bush, and it is so beautiful. It smells so good. I love the fuzzy leaves. It's done well over here. This must be a nice protected spot. It has come back. Sage doesn't always come back in my area, so this must be sheltered enough or get enough sun that it can do that. So hopefully it'll come back next year as well. I have a little bit of thyme here. And I refreshed all of the soil, guys. These were some sage seedlings here. They're absolutely beautiful. I have about 3 of them. This one's tiny. And this was a surprise. This is white ageratum. And had I taken better care of it, it might be fuller. But that was nice to see. And maybe it'll plant itself back with some seeds for the spring. This is columbine, which of course is a lovely purple shade flower, and it is a tough plant. I really didn't water it a lot up here, so it was a pretty bloomer in the spring, and its foliage is so pretty. And this is the lavender plant, which I took cuttings from, and this was grown from seed. A couple years ago my son gave me some seeds for Mother's Day, and this was one of the seed package of lavender. So I'm thrilled to have that. I will probably do a hard cut back on that and let some new foliage grow in for next spring. I also refreshed the soil on that one. The sweet alyssum has come back to life. It's bounced back, and there's lots of little pollinators all over it. So that means it'll probably throw down more seed. So I don't actually know if this is the original plant that came up in the spring or if this has reseeded itself. It kind of dies back in the summer heat, and then you see it again as the weather cools, and that's what's happening here. As well as over here, it's just exploding into growth. Look how gorgeous that is. I hope you can see the gradation of the purple to white. So beautiful. Like I said, it's very busy with lots of little winged visitors. I have a little tray of broccoli seedlings, although I'm not sure where I'm going to plant them yet. Couldn't resist starting some fall crops. And look how pretty the coleus is, guys. These are some that I took the cuttings from for the rustic garden bed. The late season geraniums are just spectacular. I love this little corner here with the red, white, and blue. Just gorgeous. And this pot of geraniums are the geraniums I bring in and out every year and replant. These are dormant during the winter, and they just get bigger and bigger each year. In fact, I'm not sure if these are the originals or some of the cuttings I've taken, but every year I try to make more of these wonderful, wonderful jewel tone red geraniums. Just love them. They're really a nice red. And my other favorite geranium are these violet ones that I grew from seed. This one is one plant. It's absolutely enormous. There's one little cutting of basil I put back here, but it's absolutely enormous for one plant. And the color is gorgeous. It actually has a little bit of red in it. There's a little bit of red toward the center, and that really pairs nicely with red or scarlet geraniums. This is one that came from, actually I think 3 that came from Lowe's. They were seed geraniums. And as you can see, they're actually making more seeds. So I'm thinking about in the spring or maybe late winter starting some of those inside and seeing if they'll germinate. These are the most glorious violet. So beautiful. I also grew these from seed. I can't believe how big these plants have gotten. They've done really well.